And there's so many kids in foster care in Arkansas that need people that will make the choice that I'll be there for you. I'll say yes, I'll help Arkansas. Like, I'll help other families in Arkansas. I'll be the yes. So I think just like if you think you could be the yes, like be the yes. It just takes a little guts and just doing anything scary, but anything rewarding like takes just saying yes at first and just being committed. But the kids are so worth saying yes.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, so we're the McGraths, Will and Emma McGrath, and we live in Little Rock. Lived here for the last 5 years or so, and got started fostering about 5 years ago.
And we have 2 kids, 1 son and 1 daughter. Our son was adopted after foster care, after 2.5 years in foster care, and then our daughter is our biological daughter.
I think my favorite thing about Arkansas is the people, and the tight-knit aspect of it. I come from a state in Texas where it's huge and you don't get to know people. I mean, you get to know people, but here when you get to know people, you get to know the center of the community and you're connected with people.
So separately, we just always felt a calling that God was calling us towards foster care and the vulnerable people and kids specifically. And so then when we met, we just started talking about foster care, what we wanted to do with our lives, and both kind of came to the agreement that foster care is something we needed to do. And we were living in Texas at the time, and we just always said if we moved to Arkansas, because the crisis is really, really extreme here, that we had to be foster parents. So we made sure on that promise, got married in June, and that following August started our training to be foster parents.
Yeah, we both, just to echo that, had a calling to do it separately, which is pretty crazy. And then when we moved here, we were like, we're 22 and 23, we just got married, but we have this calling. What do we have no reason not to get into this. We both have a calling for it, so.
The relationships you can build with the families of kids walking through foster care, and just the good that can come out of that, just when you put your heart and soul into foster care and build that, because you're taking care of their child. It's their child, and they are walking through, like you said, the hardest thing anyone could go through, like your kid being separated from you, and just making a bigger family, and then being able to support them is such a rewarding thing, that you're having that relationship after foster care, and you can be that family, because not everyone has family in town, and everyone could end up in a situation where you are walking through foster care with your biological kids. And so to kind of extend your family and continue those relationships with not just the kids in foster care, but also their biological families is probably like the most rewarding thing that we've experienced. The whole thing is just worth it. It's just worth it. Hard to explain, but it's just worth it once you live foster care. It's not just something you do, it's something that we are. That is just part of our family. We don't just do foster care on the side. It's just integrated into our family. So the whole thing is just worth it to us, because the kids are worth it, and everyone deserves someone to fight for them and fight for their family.
Yeah, I think about a fun memory is the first foster placement that we took in. They were like 8 years old, siblings, twins, or I guess they were slightly different ages. And just looking, it felt like when you drive a car for the first time when you're 16 and you're like, I'm doing this. I'm out here driving a car. This is crazy. Emma and I looked at each other. One of us looked in the back seat and kind of looked at each other like, yeah, we're doing this. We're foster parents. And we, hadn't been biological parents. So it's like, you don't have this 9-month buffer of, oh, my wife's pregnant, we're going to have a kid. It's, hey, this kid's going to be here in
they need you.
30 minutes. Are you guys capable to take them on? And we're like, yeah. So we became parents, in a sense, in 30 minutes. And then we took them in and took them to, I think, Target to get
new backpacks,
and just walking into the store and seeing, honestly, it was funny looking back, the looks on people's faces, because I still look super young. I'll be the first to admit it. Just, we've got 2 8-year-olds with us that people are like, what is going on?
And the kids didn't care, it's just a fun experience. They're going to get new backpacks, and just we had donuts the next morning, and then they were getting to go with family members later that day. And it was just one night. I don't want them to remember they were in foster care. I want them to remember remember that time we were 7, 8 years old and we spent the night at those people's house? Oh, it was really fun, and we felt really loved. And I don't remember those people or maybe why we were there, but I just felt loved and safe. Okay, so for people that are maybe hesitant or feel nervous about taking teenagers, I would just say one, they're just people, and two, they're still kids. Like, all of us were teenagers at one point, all of us were babies at one point, and you don't know what you can do till you just like say yes and try. And some people are really gifted in taking care of babies, and some people are really gifted and talented in talking to teenagers, but it's just not that hard to talk to a teenager. It's a lot harder to like figure out a sleep schedule of a baby that you didn't know. And it's such an opportunity, again, to step into that and just be their cheerleader and encourage them. And maybe they've never had that role before, and maybe they have, and you're not taking the place of their parent at all. You're just stepping in and encouraging them and kind of filling that gap in the meantime.
These older kids and teenagers just want somebody to listen and be there because they've experienced so much, unrest and things moving, and they just want someone to listen, talk to. And so I think that's big. Like, don't let the scary thought of, they've lived life before this, I don't want to step in there. Just stepping in there is more probably than they've experienced. So you're doing so much just by saying yes. Most
people say, I could never do that. I could just never, it would just be too hard. It's like the number one response we get from people. I'm a social worker. Even social workers say that to me, and attorneys definitely say that to you. Like, we could just never do that. And we always say, like, then you're the perfect person. Like, if you think it would just be too hard to say goodbye, it's devastating to say goodbye. But they weren't our kids to begin with, Like, they were someone else's, and we stepped in the meantime. It doesn't mean we don't miss them or cry when they leave or think about literally every single 18 kids that we've had. We think about them all every single day and know them all by name and talk to our kids about them and think about them and, have great memories with them. But it's just, the hard is what makes you love them and makes them so worth it, because they're so just worthy of love. Like, you hear those stories of, like extreme stories of a kid was abandoned, and all these people are saying like, I would take that kid in, like they're found behind a trash can, and people are so quick to step up and say like, I'd take that baby. But people aren't so quick up to think about like the crisis in our state and be like, we have 2 extra bedrooms in our house, or our kids are all in elementary school, and like, we've always thought, what are we gonna do with that 4th bedroom? Or, you're 22 years old and in law school, and your wife's a social worker, and you know what? Like, we need to do this. Like, there's all different reasons to become foster parents, and like, our reason wasn't special. We're not special people to do this at all. Like, we are not special. We just listened and did it. But I think you're never gonna feel like it's the right time to do it. Like, you're never gonna be like, okay, I am perfect foster parent today because I checked box A through Z, and so I know it's time to start. It's like, you just have to start.
In general, I feel like things that you do looking back that you're proud of doing took stepping out into them when they were scary. And it's another thing just like that we've been doing this for 5 years. So like, we didn't jump in and then immediately get overwhelmed and say we're out. Like, you're in it, and it is so rewarding. So don't let all these different fears that could come up or excuses come up, don't let that keep you from doing the hard thing, because you're going to look back and see that the Lord guided you through it and was with you every step of the way. You could have done it. So,
and like, we chose to be foster parents. The kids experiencing foster care didn't choose to be in foster care.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't choose. They don't get to choose which house they're going to. Like, it wasn't a choice of like, we dibs on Will and Emma. They have donuts in the morning. It's like, they don't have a choice. And there's so many kids in foster care in Arkansas that need people that will make the choice that I'll be there for you. Yeah. I'll say yes. I'll help Arkansas. Like, I'll help other families in Arkansas. I'll be the yes. So I think just like, if you think you could be the yes, like, be the yes. It just takes, It takes a little guts and just doing anything scary, but anything rewarding, like, takes just saying yes at first and just being committed. But the kids are so worth saying yes.
Yeah.